welcome to my channel. Today I'm here with my husband, Victor.
Why are you laughing?
Just pretend it's not here. It's just me and you.
Just me and you.
Yeah. We are gonna be making some ribs today.
You want me to say something?
What?
What am I supposed to say? Something right here. And ribs can be intimidating, but they're actually really not. They're actually very easy to make. So we're gonna be making two different styles of ribs.
And not only are we gonna be making ribs, we are gonna be making a really yummy, from scratch, cheesy scalloped potatoes. And I am gonna go thrifting while the ribs cook.
Did not know this. Oh, it's good that we're cooking ribs because this is my rib. You get it? The first thing after you pat it down dry on both sides, you can just use that with regular paper towels, is you're gonna want to get a really, really sharp knife and then keep that paper towel with you because you're gonna have to remove this membrane. Now I'm using the Top Feel butcher set. It's really, really sharp and you're just gonna go and peel this first layer of membrane off and it just comes off like so.
So that's like rubbery.
Yeah, this is the membrane. Sometimes if you get your butcher can remove this for you if you don't just get it from your local grocery store. Next is gonna be our base coat of seasonings. I just use, people use all different things, but I just use pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and adobo. I don't use salt because this is pretty much tasty salt. For all you professional barbecuers out there, I did not trim this because I think the fat adds a lot of flavor. And you'll do the same thing on the backside. I'm gonna split this rack in two because we're doing two different flavors. So here we're using mustard as the binder and we're gonna coat the back and the front so our rub can stick.
So we're doing two different flavors, and what are those flavors, babe?
This first one is gonna be like a hot honey garlic because I'm a lover of spice. And so we're gonna be using the Weber hot honey garlic rub, and on the sauce we're gonna get a little sweet and sticky barbecue sauce. So a little sweet, a little spicy on that rack. This is the rib rack barbecue rub, and then we're gonna be using the Stubbs hickory bourbon barbecue sauce for that one. We're gonna start with this one, the hot honey garlic rub, and we're just going to get in there and you gotta pat all this down. This is what's going to create that nice crust and caramelization underneath the sauce. All right, our oven's preheated to 275. We're going to let these bad boys go in there for about 2 hours, uncovered, bone side down on wire racks.
I have seen a ton of thrifting videos, and there are some Goodwills out there that are clean and organized, but let me tell you, this was not one of those places. It was completely trashed. There wasn't any organization at all. So whatever you were gonna find in this thrift store, you found because you were hunting for it. And I did a lot of digging and I found some gems. Not only was it crowded, which you can't tell by these clips, but it stunk a little bit, y'all, and I felt like I needed a bath after. I'm not kidding. But there were potential for DIYs, and also I found this really cool light fixture for $4.99, and I thought that was an amazing deal. Their Christmas aisle was nicely put together, I will say, and if you are shopping for Christmas at a thrift store, now is the time. Okay, so I'm back from the thrift store. Really? It's hard to record for you guys to see it in the store. Am I being attacked by squirrels right now? Recording outside is never a good idea. I don't know why I continue to try it, but I feel like it's quieter out here than it is in my house because it can be a zoo in there. So since the shelves were so scattered and cluttered and like crazy, I couldn't really show you gems just as they were sitting on the shelf. But I looked really hard and I found a couple of things. First, I want to start with this vase. This is one of the only things that I had in my cart that had a price on it. It was priced $4.99. It's actually a really good solid piece. It's heavy, it's glass, ceramic, and I liked some of the detailing. I thought at first, like, is that dirt? Because of these warm, neutral tones on the outside of the vase, like those big fluffy leaves that I have, I thought that would be so pretty in here. This little vase stuck out to me. It was 75 cents, and I loved the little scalloped edge. I thought that this would be so pretty with flowers in them, faux or fresh. It's just a cute little dainty vase. I am thinking about decorating with apples in my hutch for pre-fall decor. So before I bring out all the pumpkins and all of that, I was thinking it would be really cute to have apples, especially with like back to school, and then the seasons are changing and things like that. So I found this apple container. And let me tell you, she wasn't gonna give it to me for $2. So this is one of the things that didn't have a tag on it. This lady said, well, I'll give you a price. Sometimes they won't give it to you, or that's happened to me in the past. Like, they'd just be like, well, it's not for sale. If it doesn't have a thing on it, we haven't priced it yet, so we can't sell it. First she said $4 or $4.99, so $5. And I was like, I didn't know you can negotiate at Goodwill, but I certainly did today, because her and I went back and forth. She was like, $3? I was like, $2. Okay, I was thinking way ahead. I showed you the aisle that they had for Christmas, and I didn't dig in that aisle too much because I was like, Lord, what NASCAR driver is out today? Lord, keep him safe. Even though I was tempted to really go through that aisle, I didn't, because I didn't want to end up with all Christmas stuff. But I did end up buying these little houses. I have two more things. This was a weird purchase, but I feel like it could look kind of cool. I don't know, we will see. I got it. It's like a mini shelf. I wanted to get it. I don't know. I just felt like this would be cute hanging up on the wall with like a simple plant or candle or something on it. And then lastly, I got this big old jug with wicker all the way around it, with a wicker handle. So it has a jug inside, and then it's wrapped in this basket type material. It was painted silver. I wish it was still the original color, like the brown, but we are gonna paint it. We're gonna paint over the silver, probably with white if I can scrounge up a little bit of white paint, and just pop like some long stems in there. So yeah, that is my thrifting haul.
This is the most important part, all right? So we're gonna take these out of the oven after 2 hours, and then we're gonna come with two sheets of tin foil. You can use butcher paper if you got it, but most people don't have it. And you're gonna cover this with some honey. And then we're gonna come in with some brown sugar. We're gonna go in there with a couple of licks of butter, meat side down. And then we're gonna kind of repeat that same process on the back side of the rib. And so the most important step here is you're gonna need something to steam these ribs. That's why we wrap it. That's what's gonna get you this fall off the bone feel, okay? So for this rack, we are using half a cup of apple juice, just what I have in the fridge, and some drops of apple cider vinegar. And we're gonna place it back on the rack. And we're gonna do the same thing with the other rack.
The only difference is he's adding a little bit of garlic.
And then for our steamer, we're gonna use the superior ginger ale. Schweppes? Schweppes? I don't know, that's the one. Getting some help from the Avengers. As soon as they're good and tight, throw them back in the oven at 275 for another 2 hours. They'll fall off the bone.
This cheese grater has an attachment that makes these potatoes extra thin, and it is so satisfying and easy to use. Here's all the ingredients that we're going to be using for this cheesy, delicious sauce. Start by putting your olive oil in the pan with your onion and butter and garlic and cook that until it's nice and fragrant. And then you're going to start adding in your flour. And this is creating the roux for your sauce. So you want to make sure that you cook that flour down so that flour taste is no longer in there, stirring it very frequently, keeping an eye on it. And then you're going to stir in your heavy whipping cream and just keep doing that until it's nice and smooth. Now I'm just adding in my seasonings to give some extra flavor. I'm using salt and pepper, and then you're going to add your cheese. I'm just eyeballing this, but the recipe is going to be linked down below so that you can have the exact measurements that you'll need. Stir this until it's nice and incorporated, and it's going to look, again, very smooth. And now we are going to assemble our scalloped potatoes just by adding a base of sauce at the bottom and throwing those potatoes on top. Now, I did not add them in any special or perfect way. They're thin enough to where I knew that they were going to cook nicely regardless. So I just continued to add my layers until you finish that last final layer of cheese on the top, and you're going to cover it loosely and then cook it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 1 hour and 15 minutes. I took mine out after about 1 hour, took off the foil, and then cooked it without the foil for another 15 minutes just to get it nice and golden brown.
All right, so when you have about 15 minutes left to go in the ribs, you're gonna wanna warm up your sauce. So you're just gonna get a little saucepan out and heat it up on the stove, and then we're gonna pour it over our ribs, and then we're gonna put it back in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes until that sauce is nice and caramelized and sticky. All right, so these just cut so easily. They were like butter. Here goes the taste test. I think I'm gonna pull the bone out here. Wow, nice and tender and juicy. Bone just comes right off. Look at that. Yep, leave nothing behind. Here we go. And these just melt right in your mouth. Wow.
I can't stop laughing. I'm sorry. Look at me eat mine.
Wow. You were really excited.
Here were the scalloped potatoes once they came out of the oven. They looked so good, and the hardest part was waiting on them to sit for a little bit before we cut into them. Oh my gosh, my mouth is watering just thinking back to this meal. It was the perfect summer dinner, and I was so happy to have our family over this night to enjoy it with us. We sat around the table and laughed and talked and just had the best time soaking up all these last minute summer memories. If you like this video, give me a big thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any more homemaking and decorating content. I'll see you around. Bye.